Hi, welcome to Lockdown Series. Today we are joined by Sara. She's the faculty rep of Business and Law faculty, Chelmsford. Hi, Sara. How are you?
Hiya, yeah, I'm good. I'm very happy to be here. I'm prepared. I've got some notes written down and some little ideas. So no, very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining and also informing us that you're prepared. That seems to be like students are going to get a valuable feedback on coping up with their mental health. Thanks for that. So, jumping to the first question, do you have any advice or tips that you would like to give to your friends on coping up with mental health, especially in lockdown and the festive season which is coming up?
Yeah, it's really difficult because I remember you gave me a little brief to talk about tips, and my first thought was I'm not qualified to give any advice to anyone. I'm a student, barely sort of making it through myself. But I think overall that what gave me the idea was that everyone, without a doubt, we're going through a difficult period because of COVID. I'm a third year student, so that's got an added pressure. But everyone's stress is different, and the way you handle it and your body's sort of natural stress folder, the stress threshold is different. But I got a few little things down, and I think the very first step that I do is when I realise I'm getting stressed, I'll start tidying my space around me. So I'll tidy my bedroom, I'll tidy my room, my living space, and my desk. I think having that section tidy and you've got everything that you want wherever you want it, that gives you some sort of peace of mind. From there, I'll go down to writing a to-do list. So I'll do that. I've gotten in the habit of doing that every night for the day before. So I'll write everything that I want to do in the next following day. And it could be 3 questions or 3 tasks, and it could be up to 5, 10, which depending on the day. But having that structure from the night before, I know in the morning that I don't have to spend 10 minutes, an hour sort of wondering, oh, what am I going to do? I already have everything written down. So I think those are the 2 very first bits. From there, I'm very close to my family. So I always try to speak to my family, and living abroad and living away from them, I've gotten in the habit of talking about a lot of emotional things as well. So if you're in a difficult period, I'll call my family or I'll call my friends and have a discussion where we just speak about what I'm going through, how I'm feeling, but having that support and speaking to someone is really quite powerful. And I need to thank a few people, my closest friends here, who have been really quite supportive during this time, and it makes my whole life, and hopefully I make their life a little bit easier because it is quite challenging. And then let it cry out. Honestly, sometimes you just really need, like, that emotion needs to come out some way. So maybe go for a run, go outdoors. We can't really do social activities, but maybe boxing or something, whatever physical way that you need to get it out. And then the last resort is sort of crying, and that's something I use sometimes, where you get really overwhelmed and you're like, you know what, I need to let it go, and that's perfectly fine. But in truth, I realised that you can't fix the stress unless you fix the problem, and that's the reality, and that's the sad reality, that some things stress us because we don't have any sort of hold over them, and we can't fix anything. But the things that we can fix, like I'm stressed about an assignment, or I'm stressed about my lectures and my studies, try to fix that, try and take actions and concrete steps to deal with a problem. And I think that's the best way to long-term handle stress.
Thank you for that. I think it was really a good advice for your friends how to manage. So I'm pretty much sure that you will also be following the same thing what you advised. Apart from that, you are coping up with your part-time jobs and also the normal class and academics assignments and all. So how you are trying to manage this stuff at the same time?
It's quite difficult. I think at some point I have a tendency to enjoy doing different things. So I will often say yes to different jobs. And part-time jobs and the tasks that I agree to can become quite overwhelming on top of my studies. But I've now gone back and decided that I will have dedicated days where I do my studies and dedicated days where I work. And then just a couple of days a week where I do both, and then definitely a day off, or at least evenings off. So at the minute, I've got work mainly on Thursdays and sometimes on Mondays. So I have those 2 days designated for work. And then I know that during the rest of the week, I will study. And then I try to take Sundays, or at least Friday afternoons and Saturday afternoons off. And it's just about getting that balance. It's different for everyone, of course. And I've had moments where I've been really, really tired. I used to work at a cafe, so I would wake up at 6 a.m. sometimes, or needed to be at work at 6 a.m. So it was really difficult to do that. And then I would finish around 2 o'clock, and then I'd have to come home and do some more studying. So it's a lot of trial and error that I've had to do myself. But it's having those designated days, I think, has been the best structure, at least for where I am now during lockdown. And I know that on Saturday, for example, and Sunday, I'll start writing my dissertation, and that's, the weekend off is for my time to relax and dissertation, which is a long-term project. And then during the week, I study as if I went to school again, even if it's university.
Thank you for that. So you are an EU student, and I think you'll be again an international student soon. So the transition from EU student to an international student, do you think you have any impact on mental health and well-being in organizing and all?
It's definitely an added stress factor. Currently, we're nearing December. I know that that's a stressful time anyway, regardless of any circumstances. At Christmas time, going to see your family, arranging travel if you're international or from the EU. But even at home, students, a lot of students travel from north. So it is, overall, it's a stressful time. And then, of course, we're doing COVID. We're in the middle of COVID, and that's a huge thing. And I think no one is in the normal circumstance anymore. Nothing feels natural for most people. And then to add on top to that, having to deal with Brexit and saying, okay, I'm not certain if I will be able to carry on a master's because I won't be able to fund all the fees out of pocket, and I don't know if the government will give me the coverage. So that's a problem. I think first and second year students that have already started their studies, they really shouldn't worry too much about that now. Focus on getting that undergraduate degree, and then deal with it with a master's, or deal with any problems in the future as they come. But at the time being, I think it's a lot more stressful for students who are planning to join here sort of next January or during the summertime and September time next year. I think there's a lot of uncertainty with that. So deciding if you can go abroad, if you can get any degrees abroad, if you can come to England, if England will be okay with all of these new restrictions. So I think we're just adding more and more restrictions to our life, which makes it more stressful.
Thank you for sharing with this. Thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to give any information to the students or to your friends?
Yeah, I think what I realised, and one of my part-time jobs is I'm a peer wellbeing mentor on campus. So I think one of the best things for being a peer wellbeing mentor, what I've learned firsthand, is to know that the university has a lot of services. So there's a lot of support available, where sometimes with emotional things we feel uncomfortable talking to our family and friends and our close ones because it can be very personal. So I think going to the university where you speak to a counsellor, regardless of how big or how small the problem might seem to you, but going to these people who are specifically trained to help you deal with anxieties or deal with problems, anything from not being able to sleep to losing your appetite or having some sort of disorder, it's always okay to talk to people about this. And I think it's really powerful that the university spends so much through peer wellbeing. We've got the Fika app, which is a big promotion at the minute. There's the Together All, that was one of the recent ones, and I've spent a part of my morning today playing around with it, and it was really, really nice. It's just a platform where you don't need to put any details and you just talk about any sort of problems you might have. It's like the Reddit of well-being in a sense, where you just talk to people and you can do courses and all sorts. So I think becoming familiar and knowing that you're not alone, regardless of what you're going, they guarantee there will be someone else who can feel the same pain or can sympathize with you or has gone through the same thing. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. Come to me myself. I'm not an expert by any means at all, but I will always try to help. And it would be a good way just to find someone you need to express your feelings to.
Thank you so much for sharing all the resources that the university is currently providing, and good to know that you're the peer mentor in Chelmsford. Okay. Thanks for that, even with the service you're providing to students. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank
you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll be back again with another episode of Doctor.
Thank you. Bye.